Welcome back to the Healing Chamber podcast. My name is Layla Rose. And today the main topic is, do you own your business or does it own you? This is a common theme that I've noticed with my clients, especially the ones that are CEOs, entrepreneurs, visionaries, trailblazers. So what I notice is that the lack mentality, the lack mindset, the scarcity can also be present within a business, and also when you're trying to build generational wealth. And usually this is created by a situation that we go through in childhood. Specifically, if we see one of our parents or both or a caregiver really slaving their life away through their business or their job, what happens is subconsciously we think that the only way to be successful, the only way to be worthy of having wealth is by working really, really hard and by putting aside our needs, specifically our emotional needs. A common belief that I see also is when people think they have to trade their soul for their business. And unfortunately, a lot of business mentors and gurus and leaders have perpetuated this narrative that you have to shame yourself into action, you have to shame others into action, and that you have to trade your soul with the devil to have a successful business. I believe that it was actually something that was real prior to technology, because if you had a physical business instead of a digital one, right, you obviously had to be physically there, or at least have people there open the door every single day to the clients, right? So this is why it's only a very short amount of people that have made the transition into this new way of operating. And what I notice as well is usually when people are a slave to their business, it's a golden chain, by the way, that they have around their neck. That's how I can describe it. Usually there's a lot more consequences than, being a slave to your clients and just being frustrated most of the time, is that you're also going to live the impact of this in your personal, especially your love life, because it's really hard for your body and your nervous system to shut down who you are and your needs at work when you're spending most of the time at work, and then coming home to your spouse and then suddenly have this opening, right? Usually people stay shut down everywhere, 7 days a week, 24/7. That's what it is. And the reason why I created my program Tantric Wealth, it was to basically combine success with love, because when you're going through this opening and you're ascending to this higher level of consciousness where you realize that you've been operating from a fear-based blueprint, when this opening happens, it also happens within your relationship. So that's why there's a double shift. And usually when I look at my clients' testimonials, what people say is that once they unlocked this new way of operating their business, and using automation and using AI and all this different type of technology that is here basically to help us have a better quality of life. Usually it also changes their mindset with their relationships, because that's also a narrative that, you know, a lot of people carry subconsciously, is that you cannot be successful and have an amazing, passionate, soulful relationship. People have this belief that you have to choose. It's like one or the other, right? They think they have to be with their partner 24/7 for it to happen. And I've noticed a lot of men get really angry when their wife asks them to be more emotionally present, because they don't understand what that means. They almost see that type of statement as an attack. They completely shut down. I've seen men just shut down from having their wife telling them that, you know, they need more emotional intimacy. And for a lot of men, they think, you know, well, I'm providing, so she should, you know, be grateful and stop complaining. They see it as a complaint. And yeah, I don't know if I want to go to that place in that episode, but okay, let me just scratch the surface. I'm not going to go deep on that one, but anyone who has worked in the sex industry, not necessarily escorting or anything that, you know, has the direct exchange, transactional exchange, but I'm talking about, you know, strip clubs and massage parlors and any places that are connected with this type of industry. Anyone knows this. Anyone who's been in that industry can confirm that 90% of the clientele are married men. And this is all over the world. So there's a pattern here that I haven't seen anyone address this. So we're going to do it here today in this episode. We're going to lift the veil. We're going to expose the truth. There's an imbalance right now in relationships. Now it's been going on for a while now, actually. And what's really interesting, because I've been in this industry and I've talked to a lot of married men, and the complaints are always the same, which is so fascinating for me, because it felt like I was talking with the same man with different faces, different names, but it was the same man. And the complaints were usually that, you know, they would say that their wife is always nagging them, controlling, that they only want their money, that they feel like they're a human wallet. And they would obviously seek this feminine energy in places that they should not be in, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And I can say very confidently that this is the majority of men, because this industry generates billions of dollars every single year in every single country of this planet. That's a lot of people, don't you think? So again, these beliefs go so deep and they're so subconscious, and that's why I love to use subconscious healing techniques to work with the subconscious mind, because even if consciously someone wants to have this business where they're free, their business actually works for them, that money works for them, even if someone wants consciously a relationship where, you know, there's harmony and love and sensuality and passion, if the subconscious mind is not on board, that's like 95% of your brain power. So consciously, if you want something, that's only 5% of your action. It's not enough. It doesn't work like that. Your subconscious mind is going to battle it. And what's going to happen is, you know, I've seen so many men with addictions, you know, hidden, obviously, and women as well. But I'm talking about men right now in this specific example, where they don't know why they have this addiction to P-O-R-N. And by the way, that's another episode that I'm going to create for this, but there's nothing wrong with PORN. What's actually wrong is how it's been done, how the companies that are owning the creators and, you know, all these contracts that are excessively disempowering. But anyway, that's another thing. But when I see men with these types of addiction, it's always hidden and they don't know why. And they keep on doing it over and over. And it actually gets worse with time. What I notice, it's more hidden. It has to be like more intense because the adrenaline, you know, people need more adrenaline. The body gets used to certain levels. So you have to do it, you know. And then at the end of the day, the marriage is... the space where, first of all, the children, let's not even go there, but obviously the children gets impacted the most by this. But then obviously the marriage starts to crumble when the spouse starts to figure out that they're with somebody who has no control over themselves and has no control over their actions. They do have control. It's an illusion of not having control, but that's what it is. So it goes super freaking deep. And what's really interesting when you start healing is that it heals your business, it heals your emotional state, and it heals your marriage as well. It's a holistic practice for this specific reason. So the first thing here is to, first of all, admit, right? Because a lot of people are in denial. They think, you know, I have this, I have that, I have this successful business. I'm not a slave, right? So do you own your business or does it own you? Do you feel like you constantly have to do things that you don't want to do in order to be successful? Because that's a deep-rooted people-pleasing behavior that usually gets rooted with a parent or a mother sometimes. That is never satisfied. Regardless of what you do, it's never good enough for her. And what happens is you internalize this experience. And then you have this feeling that your spouse is basically your mother continuing to nag you and control you and emasculate you. And then you get frustrated. And then that's how the cycle just never ends. And then children get to see this chaotic dynamic, and it just it never ends. It ends when somebody is like, okay, enough. I'm admitting that there's an issue here, and now let's step into the solution. So yeah, that was a deep episode today, but I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and hopefully this episode gave you insights, or it helped you understand if you have a partner that has this really deep wounding, and truly understand that if you're the spouse of, you know, someone who has that, they are responsible for their own healing. You know, sometimes as women, it's kind of like a natural instinct to step in and to help, right? Especially if we have this like very devotional energy about us. But what it does, it actually creates the opposite. You emasculate the man even more when you're trying to mother him or mentor him. So it's really important to take a step back and to reevaluate our life, to really step back into our feminine energy, and, you know, make the best decision possible for yourself and your children, and really understand that this is a never-ending loop if you're dealing with someone who doesn't want to admit that they're a slave and who doesn't want to admit that they have addictions. And obviously you have to think of yourself first to make sure that you don't waste decades with the wrong person. So that's it for today's episode. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.